very sad and unfortunate what has happened to Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, let's be clear here. Sophie Cunningham was targeted. Let's be very, very clear here.
The play that just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg. You see her immediately grab it.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
It started with a sound no basketball fan ever wants to hear. The sharp, unmistakable cry of pain as Sophie Cunningham clutched her right knee. The arena froze in stunned silence while replay after replay captured the moment from every brutal angle, each one more stomach-turning than the last. Those watching weren't just heartbroken, they were furious. This wasn't a freak accident. It was a jarring echo of a growing problem, one that had been simmering beneath the surface of a league that promises excitement but seems to deliver more danger than glory. Cunningham's collapse wasn't just about one player going down. It felt symbolic, a flashing red light in a season littered with injuries, heated confrontations, and a league struggling to protect the very stars it needs most. Sophie wasn't just a name on a roster. She was a pulse in the Indiana Fever's rebirth, a fiery presence who, alongside Caitlin Clark, reignited hope in a fan base desperate for something real. But now, sprawled on the court surrounded by trainers in silence, all that fire was reduced to a grim question mark. The fear in the crowd wasn't just for her well-being. It was something deeper, more unsettling. Is the WNBA losing control of its game? In a year that was supposed to elevate the league, it feels like the opposite is happening. Injuries pile up, tempers flare, and moments of brilliance are increasingly overshadowed by chaos. What made this injury even more disturbing was its familiarity. It wasn't Sophie's first this season. And chillingly, it wasn't her first against the Connecticut Sun. Fans weren't just sad. They were connecting dots, angry at what they saw as a pattern too dangerous to ignore. The footage told a story no one wanted to believe. Sophie's foot caught the hardwood awkwardly, and when Bria Hartley's body crashed into her from the outside, the resulting torque drove her knee inward in a way no human joint should bend. Analysts dissected the moment, highlighting the hyperextension, the unnatural twist, and the brutal physics at play. The diagnosis wasn't official, but everyone watching knew what it meant. This was no minor knock. This was serious. Season-ending serious. And as the clip flooded social media, sympathy quickly turned to outrage. Because Cunningham's injury didn't feel isolated, it felt like the latest chapter in a spiraling narrative where elite athletes are paying the price for a league unable, or unwilling, to shield them from unnecessary harm. Caitlin Clark has taken hits that would never fly in other leagues. Other marquee names have been blooded, bruised, and battered. This isn't just physical basketball. It's something else, something broken. Cunningham's injury hit differently. It wasn't just a scream of pain or the way she clutched her knee. It was what it represented. Another Indiana Fever player being helped off the floor, another name added to a season that feels more like a growing injury report than a collection of highlight moments. And with that injury came something more ominous, whispers that turned quickly into accusations. Was this just bad luck, or were certain players being targeted? Many fans didn't hesitate to speak their minds. The fact that this was the second time Sophie had gone down in a game against the same team, the Connecticut Sun, was too much for many to ignore. It didn't feel random. Fingers were pointed, and Bria Hartley's name lit up the conversations with fury. Her past didn't help her case. Hartley's reputation already carried a shadow, hair-pulling incidents, flagrant fouls, and ejections scattered across her resume. So when she collided with Cunningham, fans didn't see a fluke. They saw a pattern, and they were livid. The narrative didn't take long to form. This wasn't just an unfortunate moment. It was Hartley striking again. Footage resurfaced showing her grabbing Angel McCourtry by the hair, joining with opponents, and being tossed from games. Whether fair or exaggerated, that image stuck, reckless, dangerous, dirty. So as Sophie writhed in pain, the angle wasn't only about the injury. It was about a storyline fans had already seen too many times. To be fair, not everyone believed Hartley meant to cause harm. Some analysts pointed to the awkward planting of Cunningham's foot and the timing of the collision as unfortunate but accidental. But that argument didn't matter to most, because regardless of intent, the outcome was the same. Sophie's knee still twisted the wrong way. She still had to be helped off the court, and the league still looked unprepared to deal with the fallout. In sports, perception often matters more than reality, And right now, the WNBA looks like it's failing to protect its players. The backlash was instant. Social media erupted with slow-motion breakdowns, accusations, demands for suspensions, and frustration toward league leadership. Words like dirty, shameful, and negligent flooded timelines, while the league's silence rang louder than any official statement could. No press release, no swift action, just the same passive response fans have come to expect when the physicality crosses a line. And that silence only poured fuel on the fire. Referees took heavy criticism too, as fans vented about technical fouls for minor reactions, eye rolls, sarcastic claps, while dangerous contact was seemingly brushed off. There's a growing sense that officials are too quick to police attitude and too slow to address actual harm. That inconsistency has bred chaos, and chaos has bred injuries. Sophie Cunningham's torn-up knee became the latest example in a growing case against the league's ability to maintain control. But what stung fans even more was a double standard. When Caitlin Clark takes a hard foul, it leads every sports show, dominates social media, and sparks endless debate. But when Sophie Cunningham, a key piece of the same team, goes down in obvious pain, the coverage is smaller, quieter, almost dismissive. That imbalance didn't go unnoticed. Fans were furious, not just over the injury itself, but over what it revealed. It looked like only certain players mattered. And for a league trying to expand its reach and credibility, that's toxic. Caitlin Clark might be the face of the moment, the ratings draw, the one who brings new eyes. But Cunningham is no role player. She's a competitor with fire, grit, and fan support. The fact that her injury didn't receive the same level of attention only deepened the sense of resentment bubbling among fans and players alike. It's no longer just about a knee or a collision. It's about whether the league values all of its stars equally. That's a dangerous question to leave unanswered. Because here's the problem. The WNBA says it wants intensity, rivalries, passion. But it's struggling to contain the fallout of that intensity. The Connecticut Sun have suddenly become the villains of the league. And while some fans love having a team to boo, others are wondering what kind of villainy is being encouraged. When being the bad guy means sidelining opponents with injuries, the game stops being entertaining and starts feeling unsettling. That's a line you can't afford to cross. Nobody watches to see backups limp through meaningless minutes. Nobody buys tickets to see empty benches. But that's the reality creeping into the WNBA's biggest games. Fever matchups that once brought electric energy thanks to the Clark-Cunningham duo are now marked by dread. Fans tune in not to cheer, but to brace themselves. Who's next? When does it end? That fear is taking the joy out of the game, and it's becoming the league's biggest problem.